Right folks, welcome to this exciting video where you once again join us in the wilderness of Scotland, and today we're coming to explore a bit of World War II history, potentially World War I history. I have been here before, maybe like a year or more ago, but it's cool to come and record the history and see what's left. So yeah, we're on this adventure. There's a couple of old shooting ranges here folks, and it's like where they would have winched the targets up and down, and then the people with the guns would have been further back taking the shots. So yeah, it's something a little bit different once again. It's cool to have a variety of abandoned locations. I ken some of the bunkers here at this Montrose aerodrome area, they've been blocked up and sealed up. So it'll be interesting to see if the shooting ranges are in the same condition. I hope they're still open. These shooting ranges are right on the edge of this golf course, which is at the other side of these bushes. Yeah, the abandoned microwave Cold War station that we were at a few months ago, it's down that way. Everything here at the Montrose aerodrome is just like in one area, and it's like loads of cool bits of history. Each time I've come here I just like documenting a different little bit of that. And literally the North Sea is just over the other side of these sand dunes. But wow, what a crazy location this is folks. Look at this, you can't even tell from here that there's such a massive historical wonder right beside us. Wow, check out folks, the cement openings lead right along the top there. And look at they've still got the mechanisms inside them. It's crazy to see that. Today on the video folks, we're joined by the child AJ. I don't know if I mentioned that in the intro there. Look how vivid the colour is on these yellow bushes. It's crazy at this time of year in Scotland, the way all that comes out. That's with the sunshine that we've gotten recently. I'm going to go down in here and document these historical mechanisms of wartime, folks. Look, there's been a big door on here, maybe a metal door. Could have just been a wooden door. But that would have been obviously keeping the worst of the weather out. And then a cool detail at the side there, there's a little guard's hut. There is two of these shooting ranges, folks, and we'll get a better look at the guard's hut when we get along to the other one. Yeah, let's head on in this. See what remains of the ancient history here. Obviously these metal bits here must have been kind of right along every one of these openings. Yeah, this is crazy. Look, there's metal on the floor there, maybe part of something. And then look, also on the back wall, right the way along, it's got these metal brackets. I can just feel spider webs the whole way along here. I'm walking through spider webs, folks. Yeah, that's what you often get with these ancient structures. Somebody's been in here having a little campfire. Yeah, look at this, folks. Just think of the old times that this mechanism was put in. Look how it's degraded and decayed. And look, you can still see it's got the pulleys up there. Wow. It would be crazy in here when they're shooting, when you're clipping the targets on and winching them up and down on these frames. If the bullet ricocheted or hit some of these bars, I wonder if ever the folk inside here were getting hit with the ricochet. It's insane, folks. The reason they've picked this bit of land to, this big like sand dunes at the far side where the bullets would embed into. Yeah, I don't know if that's been put in. It's maybe later somebody's carved that in. Sometimes with these World War II places you can see when they've built it way back in the 40s or the 30s, they've often carved their names in, and when the cement's been soft, they've like managed to write their name in it. Look at this, it's filling up with sand. It is crazy to see that. Look at the size of these ferns. We could maybe climb out this way and have a look on the top. See, the pulleys is different on these ones, because those ones are complete, like steel ones, whereas these are cast. Cool history though, folks. And I think there is another shooting range and it's got slightly different targets, maybe from a different era. They were maybe getting on so well with it that they decided to build this one as well. But it's such a long building, it's insane to see both directions from here. It's absolutely crazy, folks. Look at the way it's been fixed on. All this cement's just been poured onto the wooden shuttering. It's a crazy scene, folks. Anyway, I'm going to get a couple of photographs. This is such a cool spot, this, folks. I'm so glad that it's still open and we're able to explore it and bring the history to the world. We'll try and climb up here. Oh, that top bar's not even held on.
Climb up here.
Do you want to take the camera, my man? There we go, folks. That was a difficult climb out because I couldn't use that bar. I had to transfer all my weight up there with my arms. It's not always easy on these adventures, folks, but now we get a cool perspective of this ancient wonder from up here. So I can see at this far end here, folks, on the back wall they've got these cement gussets, and that must be holding the wall from cowping over if they falling that way. And we can see it again here. They've got these crazy cement pieces here. It is an insane structure with the yellow bushes and stuff around it. It adds a whole new character to it. And yeah, it's kind of hidden in these bushes. From a distance you don't even notice it. And just think, like, this would have been a hub of the military training in this area at one time, practicing their marksmanship. And the bullets would have been whizzing. And I do believe they were firing from this direction, and the bullets would have ended up, if they missed the targets, or even if they hit the targets, the bullets may have gone through and they would have hit over there in the dune area. Probably if you looked around hard enough you would actually find fragments of history hidden in these sand dunes. But the thing is, every year the sand dunes kind of move, and yeah, history's often buried. But yeah, that's the cool, the first shooting range in this video, folks. Look at the white sand here at Montrose. It's crazy. Look at this, folks. This is the next shooting range, and it's incredible because look how much longer it is. Can you believe how long this is here? Look at that, folks, all the way to the other end. It's insanity. We'll take a walk down there. This back wall's leaning, and I do remember that from the last time. They haven't obviously got on their stone gussets in front of it in time. Look, there's a bit of original wood here. Just think, folks, that's insane. 1930s, maybe 1940s, piece of wood. Wow. And this shooting range is of slightly different construction to the other one, because it's got like a channel at the bottom with the mechanisms down into it. And the mechanisms in this one are wider. And look, they've had a door on it as well. But look at this little guard hut here, folks. It's a crazy scene. The brambles are growing thick in here. But the guard was probably just stationed in here making sure nobody was like sneaking about outside the shooting range. Normally a lot of these little military buildings had like a lookout similar to that, and I'm not sure if the door had just like a little shooting slit on it either. And it's almost like a pillbox lookout. But I'm guessing they would have soldiers here maybe kind of on rotation 24 hours a day, guarding this facility here. From the top it looks like it's not even as long as what it is. But let's head on into this crazy abandoned shooting range wilderness, folks. Look at this, folks. I just came back around to take a couple of photographs, and I noticed the way this is, the little guard hut, and look at the way this whole structure's moved forward. I was literally just a way to head in, so let's do that. But I just noticed those little details as I was taking the photographs. Just check how long this is, eh? Wow, there's been so many targets. They must have been able to deal with so many soldiers training at once, winching the targets up and down. And maybe somebody was like grading the shots. They'd be saying, who's number 7 here? He's right on bullseye every time. He'll end up being a sniper. Yeah, the whole thing's gotten just pushed from nature itself. This could come down at any moment. So it's cool to document the history, folks, before it's gone forever. Look how deep the channel is down there. That's where the target systems were mounted. And we're going further down, folks, to see the target systems. It's like the actual metal now is getting pushed from the cement. Can you even believe how long this whole system is, folks? Look, the channel gauge is away at that end. And look, it's even further to that end. We're not even halfway down this whole thing yet. And that's why history like this blows my mind. The scale of what they were doing is just incredible. And from these as well, you can see the target would have been a lot wider than the first shooting range we looked at. Yeah, look, somebody's been in here partying with a strongbow. Summer Fritz strongbow, folks. And look at this, the old wheel. It's almost been like welded there. Still turns. And this whole thing would have been winching up and down. Well, not this bit here, but there would have been a thing winching up and down there, folks. It's like a metal frame with a target on it. Look, here's remains of what I'm talking about. Look at the rollers. See, that's the kind of history we love. There would have been another bar here, and these rollers are designed to slide up and down. And all this would have obviously been a smooth running operation. And it looks to me like the target frames are still on there. This is maybe a lot deeper than what it actually looks, folks. Maybe over the years it's been filled in, and maybe the history's been lost as time goes by with a thing like this. Oh look, I can see some marks on it here. Look at this, folks. What does that even say? Hope it comes out on the camera. England. I wish I could read it, but I really can't. I think on the camera you'll be able to see it easier than what I can see it with my actual eyeball. I'm going to take a photograph of these mechanisms though, folks, because that's so cool to me. Let's go on with this adventure, folks. I was just getting some cool photos of all that, like mechanisms. It's often stuff like that that saves the history. Just records the history at a certain time in its life. Because from the way this construction looks, it's on its last legs. This is all starting to fall forward, and it's pushing, because it's all reinforced at the top, it's just pushing this other wall out. And one day that could all just go. Look at this corner here, the way it's all cracked. Wow. This is so cool. Seeing the cement, they've used a lot of pebbles and stuff. High quantity of pebbles. Here's the Channel Asia up here, folks. Shout out.
There's a spider right in front of your face.
Hanging down. Oh, aye, right there. I don't know if that comes out on the camera. If I get it in front of the sky, you'll be able to get an idea, folks. That shows what we're walking about in right here. We're in the middle of history, but also nature and wildlife. It's just the realist adventures right here, folks. And some of these plants that's growing here, it's like a jungle scene almost at times. Insane. Oh well, looks like somebody's been throwing their dog litter bags down in here. Yeah. And if that is you, shame on you. There's no point in putting it in a bag if you're going to throw the bag away. Yeah, I'm just wanting to go at this end and get a proper perspective from the top. Yeah, you can see, because there's a lot of land here pushing on the back of it. It's just all wanting to fall down. That's where we were just a second ago, folks. Check that out, the perspective of the length of this. Yeah, the other one's got cement bits there holding it up, whereas this one doesn't. But I believe this shooting range here is the original one, probably the older one of the two. But how crazy is that, folks? We love to have a variety of history, and a shooting range like this, it's cool to document it. And again, I remembered the last time I came, it was just about falling down, and I'm happy to see it's still standing. But yeah, the adventure to come and see stuff like this is just epic. I forgot how long this actually was and the size of it. It blows my mind when I visit it. You can almost travel back in time and imagine the soldiers in there. They would have been clipping the targets on, railing them up. And then once they got fired at, they would have just brought them back down, changed them. And I believe on the back wall they had an area where they could have the spare targets. So they must have had new targets ready to go, and then an old set of targets which had been used. Like big, I'm thinking big paper bits or some sort of card. They would have clipped on those big like card targets.
The size of these openings would be the size of the target, the width.
Yeah. See, maybe it wasn't just pictures of humans or anything on the target. Maybe there was like 3 humans and they had to pick the right one to shoot or whatever. Who would even know how it worked back then, folks? But like you can see, aye, it's so wide.
Yeah, compared to the other one.
Crazy. Real scenes of history here, folks. I'm going to take a couple of pictures here. This is insanity, folks. Walking along the edge of this history, just think it can fall down probably any day, but I've been thinking that for years. So it's maybe stronger than it looks. But it probably depends on how much this ground pushes behind it. Maybe in the wet weather it's worse for it. But also it's built all on this sandy kind of ground. So it's not the most stable ground to start with. There is these interesting stones lying in the grass down here. I'm not sure if that's been like part of a structure that's around here, but it looks more like curbstones and stuff. So I'm thinking it might be something to do with the council, Angus Council, which obviously run this area now. The whole Montrose aerodrome airfield is round there, folks, with the old runway and stuff like that. And that has been operational even in World War I. The first operational airfield in the UK, folks. And this is it you're looking at right here. So it's cool to record history connected with that in a way. What are you noticing, my man?
There's shells in here, eh? So
Oh,
they must have just got it through this area.
Yeah.
Mixed it up.
They maybe dug down and then like sieved the sand, and then what was left was what they used in their cement.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. It is crazy. I'm not sure what they're going to do with this when it falls down. See, the back wall is like super thick, and that's maybe because they were shooting for that direction. They didn't want any bullet penetration going inside.
I mean, like, look how much this whole ground's dropped.
Yeah.
With this moving.
Yeah, it's all like subsiding in there. Okay, one day there'll just be a crunch and it'll be down. But credit to the construction, it stood here for a long time.
Well, it'll just be the rebar holding it up.
Yeah. Look at the pebbles on this here. Shows how much it's probably worn off the top of this over the years.
Yeah.
But probably a lot of like local people in that around the Montrose area has like probably hung out here over the years. Cause it's almost like a shelter for them in the terrible weather. And it's the sort of thing when you're young, you go and play a bit and stuff like that. Look what I've noticed, see that there? That's a tiny black caterpillar in the centre of the frame. And look, there's loads of them here. There's one on the edge, and then there's one inside that shell there on the cement render. Like, it's crazy. There's just loads of those. Did you see how many there is?
That's what steps down into it. Never noticed the steps before.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if they're original steps, because it looks more like a modern curbstone that to me down there. Yeah, it's insane. It must be what, 7 foot high off of there now, or 8 foot. But originally, I think it would have been deeper. And also, after seeing what I've seen down there today with that channel, I think that channel's been deep as well. Because it looks to me like most of the target board on some of those rails is actually still there, but it's half buried. Yeah, you can see from the cement here how it steps in and along, so it shows how much it's moved. It's a crazy thing with history, that, folks. But it's the sort of real history we love bringing you on the channel. We like to bring like different things every week. And something like this is some of my favourite things to explore. So, yeah, it is truly epic. Real military construction for the defence of the country. And yeah, the structures like that are so interesting to visit. Anyway, we'll head on with this adventure now. Look at this, folks. There is other bits of cement and little things which could have been something in the war, because it's literally just across from the door of that shooting range. But yeah, this Montrose area has got so much just often hidden and kind of forgotten in all the bushes and all the areas. Every mound could have been a bit of history, and like we discovered that when we were at the other end that day exploring around the microwave station, Cold War. Whereas today we've been here and that's some World War II history. Some say that could even be World War I marksman training, folks, but yeah, it is interesting to record anyway and see what's left today. Look at this, folks. Before we end this video, we've just come across the old Montrose, what would have been the runway, Because look, there's a gate and everything over there even. But yeah, this was the old Montrose runway that we saw. We're over at the shooting ranges. But I just thought I would put this clip in the middle of the video because we're just about missed this piece of history. Look, there's been a pillbox here. You can see the hexagonal shape of it. And it's been demolished like after the war most likely. But this must have been defending this area here at the Montrose like airfield. Look at this, folks, you can see the shape of the pillbox has been around there. And they've just literally demolished it. And it looks like this cement is the original centrepiece. So I'm not sure if there's an anti-aircraft gun or a searchlight or even flat guns or something around this airfield. But there was probably more of these pillboxes. A lot of this stuff's been demolished and it's such a shame to see. Because it's not like they've used this land for anything else. Kind of just demolished this piece of history and left it lying here on this wasteland. And it would be so cool if they save stuff like that for the next generation to see. There was the things that was done at one time to defend the country at a crucial time. That's the reason we've got our freedom to this day even. Yeah, look, it's had an asbestos inlay on the roof, and we've seen that before at like the Lunan Bains and stuff like that. Yeah, it's crazy, folks. A little bits of this bunker just hidden here. So it was definitely worth putting this segment into the video. Instead of the ending that I recorded at the other side of here, it's cool, we'll just do the ending over here, showing this next bit of history. And it looks to me like the entrance is maybe coming this corner. Because you can see some of the original shape. Look at that, folks, down there. That's the original wall. The original hexagon shape there.
I was thinking,
Yeah.
just the lie of the land.
But anyway, folks, that's been a cool walkabout. We were going to end it over there at the shooting ranges, but I just wanted to add this little bit of World War II history at the end of the video, because it just shows we see pillboxes in all conditions, and you can't even tell that's what that is unless you look really closely. And it's almost history lost, gone forever in this wild wasteland of Montrose here. But yeah, it's been a cool adventure, folks. We've explored some World War II history, the shooting ranges, and now this cool defensive pillbox protecting the runway and that here. But I'll end it here. Goodbye for me, goodbye for the channel DJ, and we'll see you very soon for the next adventure, wherever we end up going, folks.